There's been a lot of debate about the NASCAR playoffs recently. Saying this out loud shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, because the playoffs have been fiercely debated since it was first introduced in 2004 as the chase for the Nextel Cup. But after Harrison Burton won at Daytona to lock himself into the playoffs, despite being 34th in points, and Chase Briscoe won the Southern 500 at Darlington to punch his ticket to the big dance, which eliminated Chris Buescher and Bubba Wallace from championship contention, the fairness and legitimacy of the current playoff format has been turned up to 11. NASCAR fans have wildly differing opinions on how a champion should be crowned. Some people want the old Winston Cup points format that was created by Bob Latford to come back. Others have pushed for a return to the original chase format. Some want the wildcard chase format. And then there are some that are perfectly content with the current elimination style format. I don't think it's controversial to say that a lot of NASCAR fans hate the current playoff format and want a point system that prioritizes legitimacy over entertainment, so I've decided to throw my hat in the ring and devise a championship format that will make most fans happy. If you're expecting another video bashing the NASCAR playoffs for how awful they are, then this is not the video for you. Everybody knows about the shortcomings of this format, and there is simply nothing unique or interesting I could say that hasn't been beaten to death 1,000 times over. So without further ado, let's get started. There are 4 rounds in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. The first 3 rounds are separated into mini 3-race chunks. The 16 drivers that qualify for the playoffs run 3 races. The bottom 4 in points after the Bristol night race are eliminated from championship contention, while the top 12 drivers advance to the next round to continue their quest for a championship. The 12 remaining playoff drivers run another 3 races. The bottom 4 in points after the Charlotte Roval are eliminated from championship contention, which cuts the field down to just 8. The 8 remaining playoff drivers run another 3 races. The bottom 4 in points after Martinsville, you guessed it, are eliminated from championship contention, while the top 4 drivers advance to the final round to compete for Stock Car Racing's ultimate prize. The last 4 drivers standing compete for the championship in a winner-take-all season-ending title race. Points in any form no longer matter. The championship 4 driver that crosses the finish line first, regardless of finishing position, is declared the champion. One of the biggest gripes fans have with this format is the fact that the championship is decided in one race. The drivers that make the championship 4 run 35 races to get to this point, but those 35 races of effort are not reflected in the finale. You could win 6 races and be solidly consistent all season long, only to finish 4th in the finale and lose the championship to a driver that had a mediocre season and only won the crown because he went on a hot streak in the last 6 races. You could win 8 races and have the most dominant season of your career up until that point, only to lose the championship to a driver that only won 3 races and had the benefit of a late race restart and a fantastic short-run car. How do you create Game 7 moments while making the championship a little bit more legitimate? That's easy. You keep the playoff format as it's currently constructed, but you make one little tweak. Instead of deciding the championship in 1 race, you decide it in 3 and make the first race of the playoffs a wild card race. The round of 16 is spent eliminating drivers that we know have no shot at the championship, so let's cut out the pretense and eliminate the pretenders early. The top 10 drivers in the playoff standings would be automatically locked into the next round, while drivers that are 11th through 16th fight for just 2 guaranteed spots. The bottom 4 in points after this wild card race would be eliminated from championship contention, while the top 12 drivers advanced to the next round. The rest of the playoff rounds would be 3 races long, including the championship round, which I have dubbed the Elite 4. The Elite 4 driver that has the most points at the end of the final round would be crowned champion. NASCAR would still get the precious Game 7 moments that they desperately crave, and the championship would be a little bit more fair and less of a crapshoot. On paper, this sounds like the perfect solution to solve the issue of legitimacy, but there's one big problem, and this problem is the exact reason why this hypothetical format will never be implemented. This slight tweak to the format would make it realistically perfectly possible for a driver and team to game the system and rattle off multiple championships in a short span of time. Dynasties and racing go together like spaghetti and meatballs. Max Verstappen has won the last 3 F1 World Championships and is well on his way to winning his 4th in a row. Alex Palou has won 3 of the last 4 IndyCar championships. From a standpoint of competition and legitimacy, it's been absolutely incredible to see what they've been able to achieve. But from the perspective of the parity-obsessed NASCAR, this kind of scenario would be an absolute disaster, because they specifically created this format to avoid that kind of scenario. NASCAR doesn't want dominant drivers, it doesn't want dynasties, and it doesn't want a particular team to single-handedly have a stranglehold over the sport. They want drama, they want chaos, they want unpredictability, and most importantly, they want parity. Since the elimination playoff format was introduced in 2014, there have only been 2 repeat champions. This proposed format change would potentially undo that. There's also the fact that if the championship was decided in 3 races instead of just 1, the Elite Four would be more focused on points racing instead of going for the win, which would completely go against the winning means everything mentality that NASCAR has drilled into everybody's head over the last 20 years. I know this is a reality that some NASCAR fans don't want to accept, but these words have to be said. The Winston Cup points format is never coming back. The original chase format is never coming back. And the wild card chase format is never coming back. This is the way NASCAR wants their champions to be crowned, and it simply doesn't matter what I or anyone else says. I'm not saying that you can't criticize the format, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't criticize the format, but at this point the only thing you can do about the playoffs is learn to live with it, because it's not going away anytime soon, and NASCAR has absolutely no intention of changing the format in the foreseeable future. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is the true definition of insanity. That statement will inevitably age poorly because some fans will completely disregard everything I just said, and there will be tons of videos, tweets, and Reddit posts about how awful the NASCAR playoffs are by the time the 2025 season takes the green flag. It's the circle of life.